What is the area of the rectangle? Area of rectangle, so we have a binomial times a binomial. So we're going to have a mess when we're done, not a whole number. So 3x minus 2 times 2x plus 6. You have to multiply these together. So you can use box method. You could use FOIL. Distribution is another way they call it. So 3x times 2x is going to give me 6x squared. 3x times 6 gives me 18x. Negative 2 times 2x is going to give me a negative 4x. Negative 2 times 6 gives me a negative 12. 6x squared plus 14x minus 12. 6x squared plus 14x minus 12. They just added the two together, which is fine, but not helpful. If it had asked for the perimeter, remember that in a rectangle, our opposite sides are congruent, and perimeter, you would add them all together. So area of a rectangle is length times width. Hopefully at this point we know this. I feel like we've done a ton of these, but just making sure for those of you, if you pop into this one and haven't been to many of our boot camps, that might be a reason. So number 43, we're going to solve it. Definitely pause the video right now if you haven't done this one. This one is looking very familiar to me too, but I've looked through a gazillion EOC questions at the moment. But hopefully we haven't done it yet. If we have, practice it again. Don't cheat. Do it on your paper. Do it without a calculator. So go try this guy with no calculator. We're going to take that negative 3 and we're going to distribute it. So 6 minus 12x. Negative 3 times 5, negative 5 is going to give me a positive 15. Because we have to multiply first. So it's going to be 6 minus 12 and then plus 15 equals 7. We're going to combine like terms. They're on the same side of the equal mark, so we're not doing inverse. We're just cleaning up, as I like to say. And then we still have our negative 12x on this side plus a positive 21 equals 7. We want to get 12x by itself. Subtract 21. Negative 12x is equal to, we're going to divide by negative 12, divide by negative 12. And x is going to equal a positive 7 over 6. That is a very fair game question for them to give you calculator inactive. The double negative, remember, is a positive. It could be 1 1/6 as well. I'm trying to think of the other ways you can see your answers. Likely the answer is going to be in your fraction form as given if it happens to be calculator inactive. If it happens to be active, obviously it'll probably be a decimal answer choice. All right, number 44. A group of children, 3 children and 2 adults, pay a total of $120. We have children and adults to take karate class. Hopefully we see number, total, and you think system of equations at this point. And the way these are set up in this word problem, it looks like we're going to do elimination. We'll see when we get to the second sentence. So 3 children plus 2 adults is $120. Second sentence, a group of 5 children and 1 adult. 5 children, 1 adult. I'm trying to make this look like A's. For $95. What is the total cost for 1 child and 1 adult? So we're going to solve for A and C, and then we're going to get their total cost, which means we're going to add them together. We're going to find the sum. So which, remember, it means add. Again, just throwing out all these mathy words. We need to be able to find a matching set of numbers that are opposite. 3 and 5, we could multiply the top one by 5 and the bottom by 3 all the way through and make one of them negative. I can make this one into a 2 by simply multiplying the second one by a negative 2, so we have same numbers but opposite. That's going to give you a negative 10c minus 2a equals 190 negative. And then we're going to bring down the one we had before. And then we're going to work straight down and add. And when you work straight down and add, these are going to cancel out. Negative 10c plus 3 gives you a negative 7 for children. And then a negative, I owe you $190, but I pay you $120. I'm going to owe you $70. Negative c is a negative c times c. The inverse operation of that is going to be division. So we're going to divide by negative 7. So negative 70 divided by negative 7. C equals a positive 10. So children cost $10. We need that plus whatever adults cost. So we're going to go plug that C in. You can pick whichever one you want. I like this one because it's going to be just A. So 5 times 10 plus 1a, otherwise known as a, equals 95. So that's 50 plus a, now looks like a 2. Going to subtract 50, so adults are going to equal 45, because 95 minus 50 gives us 45. So if adults are 45, add those together, and I get 55. Hopefully that guy came together for you a lot easier than it did when we originally learned it, and we're feeling a little bit better because you can count on one of these. Very likely to be at least one on inactive and at least one on active. The one on active probably will have change. It'll probably be cost, so some decimals in it. Hopefully the one on the inactive will just be whole numbers like this one. So not necessarily, you have to stop and think, but you don't have to be able to use a calculator to get those numbers. All right, the function f of x, 5 times 2 raised to the x power. So that's an exponential function. Exponential function. Represents the number of bacteria, f of x, growing in a culture after x hours. How many bacteria are in the culture after 3 hours? Another good call out is that 2 means it's doubling. It's a whole one more than we had to begin with. So 1 plus 1 in this case, because it's 100%. Move it 2, that gives us our 1, just for our thought process. Because remember, it's a 1 plus or minus the percentage rate as a decimal raised to time. So we're going to take 5 times 2 raised to the third power. Without a calculator, this is still a fair question. 2 to the third power, remember, is 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is going to give us 8. So this is simply 5 times 8, which gives us 40. Now we're done. Don't panic. Think about what you know. You know the math, guys. Definitely know the math. That would probably be very, very much an inactive question. 46, I'm going to feel the same way, is likely to be an inactive question as well. Let's work on that one. So we have a function f of x and g of x. What is the value of f of 2 and g of 10? So this is going to be function notation if you're looking for which lesson we were doing, and we're plugging in the numbers. That 2 is inside the parentheses, so it's going to go inside the function named f. So we're going to go find our Frank function, which is the 42 times 5, and we're going to raise it to the second power. Then the problem set here, we're going to subtract it from g of 10. So that means 10 is in the place of x. So we're going to take Gertrude function, and we're going to plug in 10 for x. So it's going to be 30 times 10 plus 12. And now again, so far, these numbers look like they're very much calculator active kind of numbers. 5 squared, remember that means 5 times 5, which is 25. So 42 times 25 minus 30 times 10 is going to give us 300, and we'll add 12. I'm writing it all the way out. 42 times 25, not nice if you didn't have a calculator, but doable. 5 times 2, 10. 5 times 4 is 20 with a 1 left over, so that's 210. 2 times 2, we're going to come in 1 is 4, and 2 times 4 is 8. So it's going to give us 1,050. So 1,050 minus 312. So minus 312. Depending on how your teacher taught you along the way, I'm going to borrow. 10 minus 2 is going to give me 8. 4 minus 1 is going to give me 3. That 0 is not going to work. So we're going to call that a 10. 3 from 10, it gives us 7. So it's going to give us 738 as our answer for that beautiful problem. Biggest call out is when the 2 is in the inside the parentheses, it goes inside the equation. If it was on the outside and f of x equals 2, then it goes on the outside in the place of f of x. If they were to put a number outside here or something, then you're going to still do the same thing. You're going to solve this one, then you would multiply it by 3. F refers to function f, g refers to function g. I think that's all the call outs and throwbacks for those guys.